Every morning, my friends, is not just another sunrise, it's a divine message from God saying, you still have a purpose to fulfill. When you open your eyes today, it's not an accident, it's a gift, a new chance to rise above yesterday, to correct what you couldn't change, and to start again with faith, strength, and gratitude. Because when God gives you a morning, He's giving you a message. You still matter. Sometimes we wake up tired, stressed, or lost. But have you ever thought, who woke you up? It wasn't your alarm clock. It was God's gentle reminder that your life still has meaning. Every breath you take is His way of saying, my child, the story isn't over yet. So instead of complaining that it's morning again, say, thank you, God, for this chance again. Because every sunrise carries a secret. God has hidden a new opportunity inside it, but only the grateful heart can see it. Every morning is God's personal invitation to you. A silent message written across the sky in golden light, saying, wake up, my child, I still believe in you. The first breath you take at dawn isn't just air, it's a gift, a sign that your purpose is still alive. Think about it. How many people went to sleep last night wishing for one more sunrise, one more chance, but didn't receive it? Yet you did. That means something. That means God still has work for you to do, people for you to touch, lessons for you to learn, and dreams for you to fulfill. We often take mornings for granted. We rush through them, eyes half open, mind already racing, body moving without soul. But imagine if you could pause just for a few seconds and truly see the morning for what it is. The soft sunlight touching your face, the birds singing as if to remind you that life is still good, the gentle wind whispering through the trees, all of it is God's way of saying, I am still here, and so are you. When you understand that, even a simple morning becomes sacred. Many of us wake up and immediately grab our phones. We scroll through messages, notifications, or problems before even thanking the one who gave us another chance to face them. That's like receiving a precious gift and forgetting to unwrap it. What if, instead, you started your day with gratitude? Before checking the world, check within. Whisper a soft, thank you. Feel how different it feels to start your day with appreciation rather than anxiety. Gratitude opens doors that complaints can never reach. It tunes your heart to the frequency of peace. I remember meeting a man once who told me that for years he used to hate mornings. He said, every morning felt like another round of struggle, another reminder of what I haven't achieved yet. But one day, his life changed dramatically when his close friend passed away suddenly. That loss shook him deeply. The next morning, when he saw the sunrise, he broke down and said, for the first time, I realized what it means to wake up. From that day onward, he decided to begin each morning by thanking God for simply letting him open his eyes. Within weeks, his entire life changed. He became calmer, more positive, and more successful. Not because his problems disappeared, but because his perspective did. Gratitude made his mornings meaningful, and meaningful mornings made his life peaceful. You see, every morning is not a repetition, it's renewal. God doesn't just repeat days, He recreates them. Every sunrise is freshly painted by His hands, designed to remind you that no matter what happened yesterday, you can begin again. That's why in nature, you'll never find the same sunrise twice. Each one is unique, just like your journey. So why treat it as ordinary? Why not honor it as a divine opportunity to start again, to forgive, to rebuild, to love a little more deeply? Sometimes life feels heavy. You might wake up with the weight of yesterday pressing on your chest. the arguments, the disappointments, the failures. But when the morning light enters your room, it's like God saying, "My child, you don't have to carry it all. Let it go. Let my light enter your darkness." Just as sunlight dissolves the night, faith dissolves your fears. The moment you choose to look at your morning as God's personal gift, you stop being a victim of yesterday and become a student of today. Think about nature's rhythm. No matter how dark the night, morning always comes. The sun never forgets to rise. Even when clouds hide it, you know it's there, shining behind them. That's how God works too. Sometimes you don't see His hand, but He's there, arranging everything for your good. When you wake up, you're not just rising from your bed, you're rising into another chance, another step towards becoming who you were meant to be. Imagine this. You're standing by your window early in the morning. The city is quiet. The world hasn't started moving yet. You breathe in that still air. In that moment, there's peace. That peace isn't random. It's a message. It's God saying, "Slow down. You don't have to rush through life. Just trust me." If you can learn to listen in that silence, you'll realize how much God speaks, not through words but through moments. So tomorrow, when you wake up, don't see it as just another day. See it as the day you get another shot at being kind, another chance to forgive, another moment to smile. The morning is God's reminder that He hasn't given up on you. So why should you give up on yourself? Every sunrise is a question from God. Will you make this day meaningful? And your answer isn't in your words, it's in your actions. It's in how you treat people, how you handle challenges, and how you carry gratitude in your heart. The true prayer isn't always said with folded hands. Sometimes it's lived through an honest day. So, wake up not with complaints, but with consciousness. Look at the sky and say, "God, I know this morning is your message. I will use it well." Let that become your daily ritual, not just an act of worship, but an act of wisdom. Because when you start honoring your mornings, your life starts honoring you back. The next time the sun rises and light spills into your room, remember this: you are still here for a reason. And as long as you are here, there's still time to become everything you were meant to be. The morning is not just light entering your world, it's God entering your life once again, saying softly, "My child, rise. Today is your gift." Before you touch your phone in the morning, before you scroll through messages or dive into the rush of the world, pause and place your hand on your heart. Feel it beating. That rhythm is not ordinary. It is the rhythm of divine grace flowing through you. It is God's way of saying, "You are alive, you are blessed, and I am still with you." That moment, that breath, that heartbeat, that is where gratitude begins. Gratitude is not a reaction, it is a realization. It is realizing that you already have far more than you often notice. And when you begin your day with that awareness, your entire day becomes sacred. You see, gratitude is not about saying thank you only when life is perfect. It's about seeing perfection in what you already have, even when it seems imperfect. When you wake up, your mind can easily wander to what's missing. The money you don't have yet, the relationship that hurts, the goal still unachieved. But when you choose gratitude, you change your focus from what is wrong to what is right. It's like adjusting the lens of your heart. Suddenly, the same life looks brighter. The problems don't disappear, but your strength to handle them increases. That's the power of gratitude. It doesn't always change your situation, but it always changes you. Think about this from daily life. Imagine a man waking up in a small home, worried about his bills, his job, his family. The moment he steps out, he sees a man sleeping on the street, wrapped in torn blankets. In that instant, his worries shrink and his eyes fill with gratitude. The roof he complained about yesterday now feels like protection. The bread he eats feels like luxury. Gratitude transforms ordinary moments into extraordinary blessings. There's a story of a woman who used to wake up every day with complaints. She complained about her work, her commute, her tired body. One day, her friend asked her to write down 3 things she was grateful for each morning. At first, she struggled. What's there to be thankful for? She said. But she tried. She wrote, I'm grateful for my eyes that can see, for my legs that can walk, for my parents who love me. Slowly, her days started changing. She smiled more, worried less, and felt peace returning to her heart. Nothing in her external life had changed, but her inner world was transformed. That's what gratitude does. It doesn't demand new blessings, it reveals the ones already around you. The truth is, God doesn't need our gratitude, we do. Gratitude is not for Him, it's for us. It clears the dust from our hearts and lets light in. It reminds us that every small thing we take for granted is someone else's prayer. The water you drink so easily, someone is praying for a drop. The meal on your table, someone is searching for a piece of bread. The loved ones you see daily, someone has lost theirs forever. Gratitude is the bridge that turns pain into peace, chaos into calm, and existence into meaning. When you start your morning with gratitude, your entire energy shifts. You stop chasing happiness because you realize you already hold pieces of it. You begin to smile without reason, not because life is perfect, but because your heart is peaceful. Gratitude is a morning prayer that needs no words, only awareness. You can whisper it, you can feel it, or you can live it. Every time you say, "Thank you, God," you are watering the roots of your soul. And the more you water it, the more your life blooms with unseen blessings. Let's look at an example many of us can relate to. Imagine waking up late for work, rushing, frustrated, angry at yourself. You spill tea, the traffic is heavy, the day starts rough. Most people would carry that irritation through the day. But someone with gratitude pauses and thinks, at least I have a job to go to. At least I can afford tea to spill. At least I have legs to drive this car. This doesn't erase the chaos, but it changes your reaction to it. Gratitude gives you the emotional maturity to find calm, even when things go wrong. When you are grateful, you attract peace. And where there is peace, clarity follows. People often ask, how do I connect with God? The answer is simple. Start by being thankful. Gratitude opens your heart's door, and God walks in through it. Every time you express gratitude, you tune your energy to the frequency of divine abundance. Life responds differently to a grateful soul. Doors open, help arrives, miracles appear, and even challenges begin to carry meaning. There's something magical about starting your day by saying, "Thank you." It's like acknowledging that life is bigger than your struggles. Gratitude doesn't mean denying your pain. It means remembering your blessings even in pain. If you only thank God for the good days, you miss the deeper lesson. Because gratitude is not about the condition of your life, it's about the condition of your heart. A grateful heart can find peace even in a storm, because it knows that every storm is temporary, but God's grace is constant. Try this tomorrow morning before you step out of bed. Close your eyes and say, "Thank you for this breath. Thank you for this day. Thank you for giving me another chance." It may seem small, but that single act changes the vibration of your soul. Gratitude is like light. When you switch it on, the darkness cannot stay. And remember, when you thank God for small things, He trusts you with bigger ones. Gratitude is not just the key to happiness, it is the foundation of divine growth. Those who live with gratitude never run out of blessings, because the more they appreciate, the more life gives them reasons to appreciate. So begin your mornings with a heart full of thanks and watch how your days turn into miracles. Silence is one of the most powerful gifts God has given us, yet in today's world, it has become the most ignored. Every morning, when you open your eyes, there's a moment, that brief, gentle pause before your mind fills with thoughts, before the noise of the world rushes in. That moment of silence is sacred. It is not emptiness, it is presence. It is the time when your soul and God meet in stillness. But most of us, instead of honoring that silence, run away from it. We reach for our phones, check messages, scroll through updates, and drown in noise before our hearts even get a chance to breathe. We forget that before we speak to the world, we should first listen to the one who created it. When you start your morning with silence, you give God the first space in your day. You allow His voice to be heard before the voices of the world take over. Silence doesn't mean doing nothing. It means doing something profound. It means connecting. It means letting your heart absorb peace before it absorbs pressure. You see, the world speaks to your mind, but God speaks to your soul, and His language is silence. When you sit quietly in the morning, you begin to feel that inner whisper, a gentle reminder that you are not alone, that there is guidance beyond your logic, and that your life is watched over by something greater than your plans. Think of silence as the soil in which peace grows. If you begin your day with silence, your entire day carries a sense of calm. But if you begin with chaos, news, gossip, noise, then your mind becomes restless before you even step out of your home. Silence is not the absence of sound, it's the presence of understanding. It's where your thoughts settle and your emotions realign. It's where you stop talking to God through words and start talking to Him through awareness. In daily life, you might notice how noise surrounds you from the moment you wake up. The sound of traffic, notifications, conversations, alarms, they all demand attention. But silence demands nothing, it gives everything. It gives clarity, peace, and strength. Have you ever noticed how some of your best ideas or deepest realizations come when you are alone, walking in nature, or sitting quietly? That's not coincidence, that's connection. When your mind becomes still, the wisdom that's already inside you begins to surface. God placed that wisdom within you, but it cannot speak in chaos. It waits patiently for you to pause and listen. Imagine waking up and sitting by your window for just 5 minutes, watching the sunrise in silence. No phone, no rush. Just you, your breath, and the presence of God. The world might call it doing nothing, but spiritually, you are doing everything. You are recharging your inner battery. You are resetting your energy, and you are preparing your soul to face the day with calm. The person who starts their day in silence walks through noise without losing peace. They react less, understand more, and live with greater balance. There's a small story that beautifully reflects this. A man once complained that he couldn't feel God anymore. He said, "I pray every morning, but I don't feel any response." A wise teacher asked him, "What do you do after you pray?" The man said, "I check my phone, get ready, and rush to work." The teacher smiled and said, "Then how can you hear God? You're the one doing all the talking." The man was puzzled. What do you mean? The teacher replied, prayer is when you talk to God, silence is when you listen to Him. That day the man tried something new. He prayed as usual, but instead of rushing, he sat quietly for a few minutes afterward. In that stillness, he didn't hear a voice from the sky, but he felt a calmness he hadn't felt in years. That calmness was God's answer. We often think we need words to connect with the divine, but sometimes words only create more distance. Silence is purer than speech because it carries no ego. It's just you and your Creator. When you allow silence into your mornings, you stop begging and start belonging. You stop demanding and start trusting. You stop fearing and start feeling His guidance. The mind that is silent in the morning becomes strong during the day. Because in silence, you learn to respond instead of react. You learn to listen more than you speak. And that single change can transform your relationships, your work, and your peace of mind. In a noisy world, silence is rebellion. It is choosing peace over pressure, reflection over reaction. It doesn't mean you isolate yourself. It means you center yourself. You can be surrounded by chaos and still be inwardly silent. That's the mark of true spiritual growth. The one who practices morning silence begins to live like a calm river, flowing steadily, quietly nourishing everything around, never hurried, never loud, yet always purposeful. There will be days when silence feels uncomfortable. Your thoughts will jump around, your mind will resist. But don't quit. Silence is like a muscle. The more you practice it, the stronger it becomes. At first, you might hear your worries louder than peace. But keep sitting, keep breathing, keep listening. Slowly the noise fades, and what remains is stillness. And in that stillness, you'll find the presence of God waiting patiently, as He always has been. Every morning, before you speak to the world, let God speak to your heart. Sit in silence and feel His guidance. You don't have to hear a voice. Just notice the peace that begins to rise within you. That peace is His response. That calmness is His comfort. And that silence, that sacred silence, is His way of saying, I am here. When you begin your mornings in silence, you carry God's voice within you all day long. And then, no matter how loud the world becomes, your soul remains quiet, quietly strong, quietly faithful, quietly connected. The first few minutes after you open your eyes in the morning are more powerful than you realize. Those moments set the tone for your entire day. They are like seeds being planted into the soil of your mind, and whatever you plant, gratitude or worry, peace or panic, hope or fear, will grow and shape the way your day unfolds. God gave us the power to think, to imagine, to direct our inner energy. But so often, we waste this divine gift by allowing negativity to be the first visitor of our morning. We wake up and immediately think of what went wrong yesterday, what might go wrong today, or who disappointed us. We let our minds run wild without realizing that every thought is a seed, and once planted, it begins to grow roots deep within our emotions and behavior. When you wake up, your mind is like a clear, open sky, untouched, peaceful, pure. That is the best time to speak to yourself with love and faith. Because once the noise of the world starts, it becomes harder to hear your inner voice. That's why those first thoughts are so important. If your first thought is gratitude, you will carry that peace all day. If your first thought is worry, that worry will follow you like a shadow. You have the choice every single morning to decide which thought you allow to take root. And that choice determines the energy of your day, your actions, and even your relationships. Let's imagine two people waking up at the same time. The first person opens their eyes, sighs deeply, and says, "Another tiring day." They scroll through their phone, see bad news, feel irritated, and begin the morning already drained. The second person opens their eyes and says softly, "Thank you, God, for another chance." They stretch, breathe deeply, and decide, "Today I will stay calm and do my best." Both people face the same world, but their days unfold completely differently. The first person carries the weight of negativity, while the second carries the lightness of faith. It's not luck, it's choice. The way you think when you wake up is the way your day will think of you. Your thoughts are not harmless, they are creators. God gave us a mind not just to think, but to build. Every positive thought is like sunlight. It gives life, warmth, and growth. Every negative thought is like a shadow. It blocks the light. And the most beautiful truth is that you have control over which one you allow to dominate. You can't always control what happens around you, but you can control what happens within you. You can choose to begin your day with peace, even if the world outside is noisy. There is a simple daily life example that reveals how powerful morning thoughts can be. Have you ever noticed that on days you wake up irritated, everything seems to go wrong? You spill coffee, miss the bus, get annoyed easily. It's like the whole day joins your frustration. But on days you wake up grateful and calm, even when small problems come, they don't bother you much. That's because your inner world creates your outer world. God designed life that way, so that your mind becomes the steering wheel of your destiny. If you steer it with negativity, you go off course. But if you steer it with faith and clarity, you reach where you're meant to go. Your morning thoughts are not just thoughts, they are prayers in disguise. When you wake up and say, "Today will be a good day," you're not just being optimistic, you're aligning yourself with divine energy. You're opening the door for blessings to enter. But when you say, "Nothing ever goes right," you are unknowingly closing that same door. God listens not only to your words, but also to your energy. When your thoughts are filled with faith, you attract faith-filled experiences. When your mind vibrates with fear, you draw more fear into your day. There's a reason why spiritual teachers, sages, and thinkers all emphasize the power of the morning. It's the most sacred part of the day because your soul is fresh from rest. The noise of yesterday has faded, and the voice of your higher self can be heard clearly. If you allow it, you can use that time to fill your heart with positive thoughts, read something uplifting, meditate, or simply sit in silence and breathe deeply. The goal is not to have a perfect morning, but to have a peaceful one. When your morning is peaceful, your actions become powerful. Think of your thoughts as colors. Every morning, God hands you a blank canvas, your new day. You decide what to paint. You can splash it with dark shades of doubt, jealousy, and fear, or you can fill it with bright strokes of faith, love, and gratitude. The painting will reflect the palette you choose. Every sunrise is a reminder that you can start over, that you can choose again. Even if yesterday was filled with mistakes, you can wake up and say, "Today I will do better." That single thought can transform your life because the mind always follows the direction of your focus. There's a story of a woman who began her day every morning by repeating, "I am strong, I am peaceful, and God is with me." For months, her life remained the same externally, but internally she grew stronger. She stopped reacting in anger, started smiling more, and slowly her environment began to reflect her new energy. People treated her with more kindness, opportunities opened, and life began to flow differently. What changed? Her thoughts. What she planted in the morning became the fruit she ate later in the day. Remember this truth. The way you start your morning is the way you live your life. If you plant thoughts of fear, your life will grow fear. But if you plant thoughts of gratitude, peace, and trust in God, your life will bloom with those same qualities. So tomorrow, when you wake up, pause before anything else. Take a deep breath and say, "Thank you, God, for this new day. I choose to think good, do good, and see good." It might seem simple, but this small act of awareness can change everything. Because when your thoughts begin with light, your entire day shines with it. Every morning, tell yourself this one simple thing. Today I will be the reason someone smiles. You don't have to be rich, powerful, or famous to make a difference. You just have to be kind. You just have to care. God didn't send us into this world to only chase success. He sent us here to serve, to share, to spread light wherever darkness hides. Helping others doesn't always mean doing something big. Sometimes it's about doing something small with great love. A kind word, a patient ear, a gentle smile. These are the invisible threads that hold humanity together. And the truth is, when you help others, you help yourself. Because every act of kindness nourishes the soul of the one who gives, just as much as it heals the one who receives. In a world that constantly tells us to compete, helping others is an act of quiet rebellion. Society often measures value by wealth, titles, or possessions. But God measures value by compassion. He doesn't ask, "How much did you earn?" He asks, "How much did you give?" Every morning that you wake up, you have two choices: to pass through the day unnoticed or to touch someone's life, even in the smallest way. The people who truly live are not the ones who have everything, but the ones who give something: their time, their smile, their heart. Think about the moments in your own life when someone unexpectedly helped you. Maybe a friend listened when you were broken. Maybe a stranger smiled at you when you felt invisible. Maybe someone forgave you when you didn't even ask. Those moments felt divine because they were. God works through people, and sometimes you are the messenger He chooses. You might not even realize the impact of your kindness. What seems small to you could be monumental to someone else. A small gesture could save someone from despair, from loneliness, from giving up. There's a beautiful story about a man who used to sit alone in the park every morning. He looked sad and lost. One day, a young woman who jogged there daily decided to greet him with a smile. Every morning after that, she waved at him and said, "Good morning." Weeks passed, and one day the man stopped her and said, "You have no idea what your smile has done for me. My wife passed away a few months ago, and I stopped believing in happiness. But every morning, your kindness reminded me that life still has warmth." The woman was stunned. What took her 2 seconds each day changed someone's entire outlook on life. That's the unseen power of helping others. It multiplies silently. Helping others is not always about charity or money. It's about presence. It's about seeing people when the world ignores them. It's about speaking gently when everyone else shouts. It's about offering hope when someone is drowning in doubt. You don't need to solve someone's problems. Sometimes you just need to remind them that they are not alone. A kind person becomes like sunlight. They don't choose who to shine on. They simply give light to everyone. There's a reason why helping others brings such peace. It's because it aligns you with your divine nature. God is love, and when you help others, you act from that same place of love. You become an instrument of His compassion. You start to see life differently. The things that used to bother you begin to lose power because your heart is now focused on giving, not getting. And when you give from a pure heart, the universe finds ways to give back to you. It might not always be in the same form. Sometimes it's peace. Sometimes it's strength. Sometimes it's a miracle you never saw coming. In daily life, opportunities to help others appear everywhere. In your home, your work, even in passing moments. Maybe your colleague is struggling quietly, and you take time to ask, "Are you okay?" Maybe your parent needs a little more patience from you. Maybe your friend needs encouragement. Even animals, nature, and strangers can benefit from your kindness. Holding the door open, offering your seat, giving food to someone hungry, or even sharing uplifting words. These are all forms of service. And remember, when you help someone, you're not lowering yourself, you're rising to the level of your humanity. God doesn't always appear in temples or prayers. Sometimes He appears in the faces of those who need you. Every time you comfort someone, it's as if you're comforting God Himself. The greatest service is not when you expect appreciation, but when you give simply because your heart feels called to. When your actions are guided by love, they become worship. There's a saying, "Be kind, for everyone you meet is fighting a battle you know nothing about." How true that is. Some people walk around with smiles but carry invisible wounds. You may not know what someone is going through, but your kindness can make the weight on their heart feel lighter. That's why helping others isn't optional. It's essential. It's what makes life meaningful. At the end of the day, no one will remember the expensive things you owned, but they will remember how you made them feel. They will remember your warmth, your words, your willingness to help. You can't take your wealth or achievements with you, but the kindness you give lives forever. In the memories of others, in the hearts you touched, in the ripples you created without even knowing it. So every morning, before you step out, make this your promise to yourself and to God. Today, I will make someone's life a little easier, a little happier. It doesn't have to be grand, it just has to be genuine, because one small act of kindness done with love has the power to echo in eternity. God gave you this morning, this life, this energy, not just to live for yourself, but to be a blessing to others. And when you do that, when you help, serve, and love without expecting anything in return, you'll discover something extraordinary. The more you give, the fuller you become. Every challenge in your life is not there to break you, it's there to build you. The difficult moments, the times when nothing seems to go your way, those aren't signs of God's absence. They are signs of His deep involvement in your growth. When everything is easy, we stay the same. But when life becomes hard, that's when we are pushed to discover our strength, patience, and faith. Every storm that comes into your life comes with a hidden message. There's something greater waiting for you if you don't give up. Think about it. Every seed must first break before it can grow. The shell must crack open for life to emerge. The darkness of the soil is not its end, it's its beginning. In the same way, your tough times are not the end of your story. They are the soil in which your strength is taking root. God never sends difficulty without purpose. Sometimes He slows your pace to protect you from something unseen. Sometimes He delays your plan because He's perfecting your path. What looks like a setback is often a setup for something extraordinary. Look at life through this lens. When God takes something away, it's not punishment, it's preparation. You may lose a job, a friend, or an opportunity and wonder, why me? But later, you realize that without that loss, you would never have reached where you are today. Every closed door teaches you where not to go. Every rejection reminds you of your worth. Every delay shapes your patience. Every challenge shapes your wisdom. These are not random events, they are divine lessons. Let's take an everyday example. Imagine a young woman who works tirelessly to get her dream job. She faces rejection after rejection, and each time she feels like giving up, but she doesn't. She keeps refining her skills, strengthening her mindset, and trusting God's timing. After months of struggle, she finally lands a position better than she ever dreamed of, one that aligns perfectly with her purpose. Looking back, she realizes that the rejections weren't failures, they were redirections. That's how God works. He removes what's not meant for you so He can give you what is truly meant for you. When you face challenges, remember this: pressure creates diamonds. The same fire that melts wax hardens clay. It's not the fire that defines you, but how you respond to it. When you let challenges refine you instead of destroy you, you become unshakable. You stop running from pain and start learning from it. You stop asking, "Why is this happening to me?" and start asking, "What is this trying to teach me?" That's when life changes. Because wisdom doesn't come from comfort, it comes from endurance. Sometimes God takes you through a valley, not because you're weak, but because you're strong enough to climb the next mountain. Think about how the strongest trees grow. They grow in harsh winds. They don't break easily because they've learned how to stand tall in the storm. You're no different. The moments that test your patience are the moments that strengthen your faith. The times when you feel alone are the times when God is closest, whispering, "I'm still here, keep going." Even the smallest challenges, waking up early when you don't feel like it, being kind when you're frustrated, staying calm when life feels unfair, these are daily opportunities to build your inner strength. Growth doesn't always happen in grand moments. It often happens quietly when you choose discipline over comfort, love over anger, faith over fear. Every choice you make in tough times shapes the person you're becoming. There's a story of a butterfly struggling to come out of its cocoon. A man, seeing it struggle, decided to help by cutting the cocoon open. The butterfly came out, but its wings were weak and it couldn't fly. What the man didn't realize was that the struggle was necessary. The effort of breaking free from the cocoon is what pushes the fluid into the wings, giving them strength to fly. Without that struggle, the butterfly would never fulfill its purpose. Life is the same. Sometimes the struggle you're desperate to escape is the very thing giving you the strength to rise. When you go through difficulties, remind yourself this pain has a purpose. Every time you've been through something hard and survived, you've grown wiser, more compassionate, more resilient. That's the gift hidden inside pain: transformation. The most beautiful souls are not the ones who never suffered. They are the ones who turn their suffering into strength. The next time life feels heavy, take a deep breath and say, "This too shall pass," because it will. No storm lasts forever. The clouds may hide the sun, but the sun never stops shining. In the same way, your light never goes out. It's just hidden behind temporary struggles. Have patience with yourself. Trust that everything happening now is part of something much bigger than what you can see. And when you finally come out of your storm, because you will, don't forget what it taught you. Don't forget the nights you cried but kept believing, the mornings you rose despite being tired, the days you smiled even when life hurt, Those moments are your strength. Those scars are your wisdom. And that journey, as painful as it was, will inspire others who are walking through their own storms. So don't fear the challenges that come your way. Embrace them with faith. Because every mountain you climb brings you closer to the sky. Every hardship is a divine tool shaping you into the person you're meant to become. Stronger, wiser, more compassionate. When life pushes you down, remember, God isn't punishing you. He's preparing you. Preparing you to rise, to shine, and to inspire others through the power of your perseverance. When the day comes to an end and the sun sets, most people rush into the night, trying to escape the noise, the mistakes, the business of their day. But the truth is, before you close your eyes, before you drift into sleep, there is something sacred you can do. Reflect. Reflection is not about judging your day. It's about understanding it. It's about sitting quietly with your thoughts and allowing your soul to speak. God doesn't only talk to you in temples or holy places. He speaks in the silence of your heart when the world goes still and the night is His perfect classroom. Imagine your day as a book. Every morning, God hands you a blank page. By night, it's filled with your choices, words, actions, and emotions. The question is, did you write a story you're proud of today? When you pause to reflect, you give yourself a chance to learn from your mistakes instead of carrying them into tomorrow. Every day holds lessons, and reflection turns those lessons into wisdom. Without reflection, you repeat the same patterns. With reflection, you rise above them. Think of a simple daily example. A man ends his day exhausted, feeling frustrated with people at work who didn't treat him kindly. But instead of falling asleep with resentment, he sits for 5 minutes and reflects. He asks himself, what could I have done differently? Did I react with patience? Did I let my emotions control me? In that quiet space, he realizes that though he couldn't control others, he could control his reaction. That awareness becomes his strength for tomorrow. This is how reflection works. It transforms frustration into wisdom and regret into growth. Many people go through life reacting, not reflecting. They wake up, work, complain, and sleep, carrying the same negativity day after day. But when you stop, even for a few minutes at night, you allow your mind to breathe and your heart to heal. You start seeing your day as a divine lesson instead of a random struggle. God doesn't want perfection from you. He wants progression. And progression comes from awareness, the kind that only reflection can bring. Every night, when the world is quiet and your phone is aside, think of 3 moments that made your day meaningful. Maybe it was a smile you gave to a stranger, a moment you controlled your anger, or even a time when you failed but learned something valuable. Write them down or simply whisper them in gratitude. These small reflections build inner peace. You start noticing how God works subtly through your day. Through challenges,